I really could do an entire show on just this topic. It has been fascinating to see how this has all unfolded. But hearing what you just heard from both John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan, what do you think the psyche is for Trey Lance right now?
Broken.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
I mean, think about going third in the draft and now you're third string at best for a team that you were their starter to start the season. And self-doubt becomes a very real thing.
Yeah.
Not only do you start to doubt yourself, but you have other people doubting you that hand-selected you. If I was Trey Lance and I'm trying to put myself in his shoes, I want out. I'm in career preservation mode. What's the one thing we say about Trey right now? He hasn't played. I'm not playing in San Francisco.
3 years in a row.
I'm not getting any reps in San Francisco. How am I going to get better? So I'm in career preservation mode going to my reps. You have to get me out of San Francisco. And just to bring people at home just into it a little bit, Brock Purdy is going to get 99% of those practice reps because he's still a young player.
Yeah.
Whatever is left over, Sam Darnold is going to get, and then Sam Darnold's going to get basically every scout team rep.
Right.
Trey Lance is not going to become a better player in San Francisco this year. So I think just for the hope of his career and the hope of him somehow getting better, he has to do everything he can to get to a new home and get out of San Francisco.
And if that is the case, which likelihood it could be the case, I think he needs to sit down and talk to Sam Darnold. He's feeling bad right now because Sam Darnold here again, he's been in the league 5 years, been to 3 teams. And he was a highly sought-out player as well, first-round pick. And now all of a sudden he's there with the 49ers.
Yeah.
You can look in your conference. Geno Smith resurrected his career. Baker Mayfield is a starting quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So you will get a second shot, but your mind has to be right. And you can't take it personal. And hopefully you'll land at a spot to where you'll get an opportunity. But if you're San Francisco, you're sitting there going, every year it seems we play with 3 quarterbacks due to injury. So they're a little bit nervous as well about letting him go.
Right? And they're saying the right things right now that make you think they want to keep him, but actions sometimes speak louder than words. He's a third-string quarterback now for a reason. Kimberly, what are you hearing about the potential market for Trey Lance? Because a trade would seem an obvious outcome eventually.
Yeah, I thought Dan brings up a great point of if I'm Trey Lance, I want out. He needs to play. My question is, what team in the NFL is Trey Lance going to go to right now that will give him an opportunity to see any sort of practice time or any sort of reps or any sort of game time? Now, I know you can mention Atlanta and Desmond Ridder, but for Trey Lance, I don't know if you're another team. What have you seen of Trey Lance? Some not so great preseason action. That's what you're looking at. And what kind of capital do you want to give up to get that guy? That's my only question when it comes to the market for Trey Lance.
I'll give you 3 teams, Atlanta, Tampa Bay, and Minnesota. So first of all, the compensation should not matter to San Francisco anymore. We all know we all know this was a failed draft pick situation-wise. The reason I say Atlanta is Arthur Smith creativity, Desmond Ridder, while intrigued by him, you never know. And I think it's one of those situations we could get Desmond Ridder on the field, Trey Lance on the field, even in packages in Atlanta. Tampa Bay, because they've got Baker Mayfield, and Tampa Bay right now is playing with, I guess, the let's see what we have situation. If Baker fails in the first couple weeks, the worst case scenario is you put Trey Lance on the field and maybe you luck into it, just like a Seattle in many ways did with Geno Smith. And Minnesota, because we know Kirk Cousins is playing on the last year of his contract, and it's unlikely that he gets on the field. But Kimberly, I agree with your point that he's probably not going to play a ton, specifically early on. But at least he might get practice reps in those situations. He's not going to get anything in San Francisco. So that's why I think those 3 situations make the most sense.
Minnesota's interesting. Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, the GM of the Vikings, was in San Francisco when they drafted Trey Lance. So at least some familiarity.
For real?
He was. Yeah.
Oh, that's a great nugget.
Look at that, Dano. Making each other smarter here on TV.
Let's go. Look at you.
All right.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.